not scary at all. It's just lonely. That's what it is. This game is freaking lonely. The whole time you're here, you are just by yourself. And then you talk to yourself.
What's that on the ground?
Oh, wow. That was not there when we got here first.
What is that?
That's a dial or something like that. It only lays electricity flow one way. I mean, if it is what it is, maybe it's something kind of like arcane or something. I don't know. Let's not touch it. You never know what's gonna come out.
Well, I mean, you were just about to walk over it, and we probably did already walk over it on the way over there to wherever we were.
No, it was not there 100%.
Are you sure about that?
No, I'm not, but I'm just gonna fool myself into thinking that it was not there. Because I don't want to believe it was there. You know, ignorance is bliss. Let's just go with it. It was not there, so therefore I couldn't have stepped on it.
And I couldn't have died.
Right.
It's like when you find yourself in the middle of a situation that you only then realize how deadly it was and how you came through all throughout the entire situation, almost killing yourself on accident, and you didn't even realize that, and then you're just like, okay, now I know how deadly it is. How am I gonna proceed like when I didn't know how deadly it was? Like, how did I do that? You didn't know because you didn't know it was deadly.
I'm telling you, that's the Eye of Sauron.
From Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
The mount is clearly the focal point of this landscape. It almost appears so well placed as to be artificial. I find myself easily slipping into the delusional state of ascribing purpose, deliberate motive to everything here. Was this island formed during the moment of impact? When we were torn loose from our moor, and the seatbelts cut motorway lanes into our chests and shoulders, did it first break surface then?
I don't know. So far, what I get from the storyline is that something happened and most people died. So he ended up on this island, and I guess he thinks he's asking himself, is an island?
When someone had died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boats, and know to send aid or impose a cordon of protection, and wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this, to keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh.
Oh, so this guy's stuck here?
No, he wants to be alone.
Well, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, there's another game that I thought is similar like this. It's this game, I forgot what it's called. It's like on the tip of my tongue. It starts with an E, I'm pretty sure. It was about this family who, they built, at the beginning of the family line, they built this house, but it turns out to be a cursed house.
We are not like Lot's wife, you and I. We feel no particular need to turn back. There's nothing to be seen if we did. No tired old man parting the cliffs with his arms. No gifts or Bibles laid out on the sand for the taking. No tides turning or the shrieking gulls overhead. The bones of the hermit are no longer laid out for the taking. I have stolen them away to the guts of this island, where the passages all run to black, and where we can light each other's faces by their strange luminescence.
I didn't catch any of it.
Well, yeah, it was a game where they basically built this house, but it turned out to be cursed. Not in the way where like there's ghosts and stuff, but basically they believed there was a curse that made everyone there died a dreadful death, or just like they just died, disappeared, vanished, whatever. Eventually, as the family grew more and more, they built more into the house, and eventually, at some point, I'm pretty sure it got washed away to another part of the, I don't know where, actually. people of the family died, and you're one of the people who lived in the family?
Dear Esther, I met Paul. I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life.
Well, basically, in the game, you're trying to find out if, like, you're just trying to find out the stuff that happened, like, because there was a lot of stuff that was hidden from you at a young age. So, yeah. It's a really good game. I can't remember the name. It's on my phone.
Let's see if we can. Let's see how far we can get. Oh, that's it. I'm pretty sure.
Try it. Try it.
I'm pretty sure we can't go anywhere. Oh, we made it.
You can go on the side if that doesn't work, you know?
Alright, there's a little hut.
Oh, no. There's barbed wire. You can't go that way. You have to go back over here.
Even if I try, look, I'm trying.
Just keep
Okay,
trying. You
yeah.
see?
Well, let's
Go
go to
back
that
up.
cave.
Alright, then don't go back up the way you were trying to go.
Right.
For like, oh my gosh. For whatever reason you're trying to go up.
Well, so that's where we started over there. See the house.
Yeah. We've come a long way in 7 minutes. Pretty sure it was 10 since like we didn't start this for a while.
This hermit, this seer, this distant historian of bones and old bread, where did he vanish to? Why, asked the farmers. Why, asked Jacobson. Why bother with your visions at all, if you're just to throw your arms up at the cliff and let it close in behind you and seal you into the belly of the island, a museum shut to all but the most devoted?
That's...
My man Shakespeare is having an existential crisis.
Oh, okay, so it's...
Oh, it's
so,
a thing again.
I think that's like, you know, like one of those brain cells and all that. And then over here, he's got a combination of brain cells, I would say, and elements.
And then it creates that weird.
I don't
thing.
know what that is. But that's weird. And then we got another one over there. Another one over here.
Or it's growing.
No, they're not growing. They're
No,
like
look.
drawings.
But look, that thing gets bigger. There's more of them. The vein thingamajigers.
Right. But there's nothing else here. I don't see anything else.
Some weird voodoo hootie is
Right.
happening on
Something's
this
going
stuff.
on here.
Yeah.
Well, let's get out of here. Let's go look around. Let's go up the hill.
Is there a house on the hill?
I don't know. I
Never
never
been
really
up there?
played this game. This is my first time. I never got this far before. I was starting. Oh, look.
Wow. Seen a bird for once.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the place looks so dead. At least we saw something alive.
At least something's able to thrive there. Besides all the plants.
But then again, it's a bird. Bird can fly from other places. They don't necessarily need to be from this island. They could come in from another one. We can't, but we don't want to. He doesn't want to. He wants to be alone.
Just like a flock of birds just come by. Or maybe it's not even a flock.
Well,
It's just
that
like,
bird is alone.
just-
Normally, you will find them in a flock, right?
like you just see one bird flying by, it's just about to make it across the island. He just shoots it down, just like not a single thing can thrive on this land. So dull, so bleak.
Yeah, he wants to be alone.
I've become convinced I'm not alone here, even though I'm equally sure it is simply a delusion brought upon by circumstance. I do not, for instance, remember where I found the candles, or why I took it upon myself to light such a strange pathway. Perhaps it is only for those who are bound to follow.
What candles? Where?
What pathway?
He lit a pathway of candles. But where? Does he mean in the cave? Were there candles in the cave? No, we had a flashlight. I can't remember. Wow. I love the flowers. They look very... Oh my god, I'm getting Skyrim vibes from the flowers. I don't know why. I just remember lots of time where I would just pick up flowers and herbs.
This looks like not really Skyrim, but Morrowind. Because the graphics are not that advanced.
Like the entire time while we're playing this, we're just not even enjoying the game. We're not even enjoying the game. We're just like referencing other games we played, and just at the end, that was cool.
Right. So we made it to.
Does that say something?
Stonehenge. Where?
I thought I saw some writing on it. Creepy sounds. Wait, are those are trees?
What?
Yeah, look,
No,
look
they're
up here.
stones.
Look, that's the kind of stuff that grows on trees, no?
No, that's
That
just
happens to
ivy.
trees?
It grows on everything.
No, I mean like that part. It looks like the inside.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's a rock.
Oh, it looks like a tree to me. Wait, come over here. Just one more time. I want to check the top.
What country are you from?
Shut up.
Like that toy.
Wait, just come over here and check the top. Okay, so it's not a tree.
Look,
I'm just making
it's a
sure.
piece of stone.
It looks like if you. I just thought it looked kind of like a tree.
What?
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to visit your country. See how the trees look like over there. They look just like stone.
Says the one that wasn't even born here. Oh my god.
I never see that kind of trees over here. But well, I'm assuming you're from another country.
The texture, I mean the shape was different, but I mean the texture on it it kind of looked like a tree. Oh jeez.
This game is so interesting. I just love it. It's exciting. There's so much action going on.
It's starting to scare me. I thought the walls were closing in for. Oh jeez.
Oh great. We didn't even do nothing and it's done. We finished it, I guess.
No, we broke the game.
Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my ordnance survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the Welcome Break services. But although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
Oh damn.
Just looking for that island.
Well, look around.
Oh, goddamn it, I hate this. The
Go
game
back.
already started
And what?
and I can't tell the difference. I thought it was just like a cutscene or something.
Really? I thought you were just not moving to make
No,
not
like,
make
for
sound.
real, I thought that was just a screenshot that was just a picture on the screen, and someone was talking over it, just like a cutscene.
Really?
Yeah, I know, right? Just put down the.
Oh damn. Looks haunted.
Haunted and interesting. I don't know why he says that he cannot find the place if he's already in the place. This is the island that he's looking for.
Really?
Yeah,
You think so or you know so?
I think so.
Maybe the game already gave us all the answers to our questions, and we're just. Because I don't understand anything this man's saying.
It's really weird, right?
Yeah.
It's like British or something.
I was talking about the words he says, not his accent. Alright.
I know, but the word she used was not really something French American.
That's true.
They're more like European, British kind of. That's why he said he's British, not saying, or English. From England. What's up? nothing.
Um,
There's no way to get up there. That looks like a cargo ship just went straight to a rock.
There must be a hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
is there literally nothing else you can do? Wait, I was about to read it. Bye. Can you go up there?
I'm trying to get up there so I can read that one.
Wait. Check if there's a proper.
And
Neither did he.
or drink. I don't know what that means. Is that from the Bible?
Maybe.
That's a lighthouse over there. So, okay. It's 3-story nice. Okay, it's 2 guys and 1 girl. Esther, this girl, of course. Then we have the first guy that we played as just before we won here. He's over there with that lighthouse.
You sure that's a lighthouse? Little bit close to me, except on tiny lighthouse. That looks like those things they put in the water.
Yeah, you're right. So my theory is just destroyed. Never mind.
Maybe he's tiny.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it to myself now.
I had kidney stones and you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic, your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
Okay, so she died, she got run over, I guess.
Well, to respond to what you were about to say, what you said, I was gonna say, no, please do continue. I love hearing your idiocy.
But it looks like she died.
Oh dang!
I need to go down there. I don't care if I die.
When I
Let's go
first
down.
looked into the shaft, I swear I felt the stones in my stomach shift in recognition.
You messed up. Ooh.
No.
There's barbed wire there. Why can't you learn?
Look, I got an achievement. Stacked armor. We're jumping on there.
What does stacked an arm mean?
I don't know.
Let me search it up.
Yeah, but I just had to.
It's like that condition thing. Not condition. Immediately condition.
You're an idiot.
Wait, what's it
That's a
called?
condition.
Wait, what did the achievement say again?
Stack, like S-T-A-C.
Stack,
S-T-A-C. No, not K.
S-T-A-C-H?
C? No. Just a C.
Oh, just C? Oh, okay.
And A-N.
Mm-hmm.
And A-R-N.
Stack an Armin.
Armin, yeah.
Stack an Armin, based on the proper Scottish, whatever that says spelling, is a C stack in the S-T, Celta. Can you say that? Highest C stack in
Well,
Scotland.
this is the deepest one then. I mean, I don't know why we got that achievement, but yeah, we got it.
Because we fell down in it.
I
Anyways.
began to climb,
Wow, alright.
away from the sea and towards the center. It is a straight line to the summit, where the evening begins to coil around the aerial and squeeze the signals into early silence. The bothy squats against the mount to avoid the gaze of the aerial. I too will creep under the island like an animal and approach it from the northern shore.
Surgery.
Right. Something like that.
What's I gonna say again? This guy made me forget what I was gonna say. That's what he interrupted me. How dare he?
The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either.
Well,
Someone was here before we got here.
I think
He used to be that urban shepherd. And he died alone. I don't know why they say that he and that urban was here. Well, that was his last. But that's weird. If this is the way back when, yeah, we got chemistry all over the place.
That's not.
You remember that needle back there? If this is like so old, why would they need a needle? There were no needles back then.
Back then, like, when were needles? Let me hear.
Yeah, I mean, come on. This is way old, way old. It's just like stone houses and all that. Oh, look.
In the 10th century, the surgery needle were developed by Abulcus. I don't know how to
Inventory.
speak.
A trestle table we spread wallpaper on in our first home. A folding chair. I laughed at you for bringing camping in the lakes. I was uncomfortable later and you laughed then. This diary, the bed with the broken springs. Once asleep you have to remember not to dream. A change of clothes. Donnelly's book, stolen from Edinburgh Library on the way here. I will burn them all on the last morning and make an aerial of my own.
Turns out syringes were originally made in 1844 and then upgraded in 1850 or 83.
That one's just too advanced. It was like that one syringe is like the one. Less syringes haven't changed.
No, they have, because I saw the pictures and they were pretty different.
I know, and the one that came up right there in the game, it's like very advanced.
There's a bloody bag thing. The wind is just, gosh. Well, I'm pretty sure you can't actually interact with it. There's that weird thingy that looks like it has tentacles again. Thing in the cave. It's on the wall of the building. So there's literally nothing you can do in this game except limit. What's up here? I'm going up here. Oh, jeez. That's not... oh, yeah, I'm not... Were we here? Did you walk all the way up here? You did, right? So I'll cut it down. I didn't know there were so many trees cut down. Hey, you can fall off this cliff. That's neat. Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
Come back.
Okay, that's cool.
Come back.
How can you not think this is wood? Like, come on, you have to, like, at least. That kinda look like wood, right? Yeah, that kinda looks like wood, don't you think? At least a tiny bit. Because it's all brown and stuff. And it has that weird stuff that whenever the bark comes off, it turns a lighter color. That looks like rock, though. Plus, there's...
What to make of Donnelly, the laudanum and the syphilis? It is clearly not how he began, but I've been unable to discover if the former was a result of his visiting the island or the force that drove him here. For the syphilis, a drunk driver smashing his insides into a pulp as he stumbled these paths, I can only offer my empathy. We're all victims of our age. My disease is the internal combustion engine and the cheap fermentation of yeast.
Look, I'm in the carvings in the mountain. You saw the white ones, remember? I'm in the carving right now.
They found Jakobsen in early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. He'd struggled halfway down the cliff path, perhaps looking for some lost goat, or perhaps in a delirium, and expired, curled into a claw right under the winter moon. Even the animals shunned his corpse. The mainlanders thought to bring it home unlucky. Donnelly claims they dragged it to the caves to thaw out and rot, but he is proving an unreliable witness.
You can see all the garbage stuff.
Whoa!
Look, it's a tiny... oh wait, no, I thought that was a tiny garbage can. It was some newspaper.
Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken.
Come on.
It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
Wait, that happened?
I think so. I don't know. He's very fragile.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. He broke his femur.
What
or
a
something.
baby!
I know, right?
I've fallen off, huge trees and not have broken a thing. Like, nothing, nada. Yeah, what a baby.
Oh, okay. So that's why. That's where he broke his femur. Okay.
This place?
Yeah. So that makes sense, huh? Jacobson.
I thought I wasn't looking at the screen and I just kept moving forward. I wasn't really paying attention. I thought I just killed myself right there. Oh, I'm alive. Alright, that's cool.
Now we're under.
From here, this last time, I have understood there is no turning back. The torch is failing along with my resolve. I hear the singing of the sea creatures from the passages above me, and they are promising the return of the gulls.
I was looking up. It's here.
Oh, so that's the candles that he did.
These are the candles?
Right.
So he said there was a path with candles. He lit candles into a pathway or something, whatever he said. This looks really pretty. What does this remind me of? This reminds me of something. What was it? It's a Skyrim game. That's why it's so familiar. My God, I don't even play Skyrim anymore, and yet it still has a big.
It was like one of those games that you just can't forget it. It's still very good up to this day. There's nothing out there that can top.
I thought I started floating. I just got what? Yeah, I just got cholera.
That's because you're not a human. It's just a camera floating around.
That's great to know. I'm glad you informed me of that. Like, how could I have known? Like, of course, because everyone knows that. Like, I mean, nobody knows that this is a video game. You need to be informed to know that things like this don't happen. I'm going in. What if there's different endings and we're just doing the worst things ever and just messing it up for ourselves so badly? I mean, I do that a lot. Like, sometimes, you know those videos where, like, on YouTube, where they let you pick certain passages you want to take?
Choose the story.
Yeah, choose the story. And I don't know how, but I always go down, like, whatever path I go, no matter how bad or worse, I somehow find something worse than what there possibly was to choose from. Like, me and Jessica, we'd always place a bet on which one was a good one. I'd always get the bad one. I'm just that good at being bad.
I know, right?
This reminds me of the beginning of the game where you come around here, you can sneak, and there was a bear over there, somewhere over there. Wow, this is great. And there was a bear, and you can kill it once, or sneak around. And then eventually, as you kept going in the tunnel, you can also find a spider. One of those big spiders. This is so good. Jumping down there might actually kill. Oh, wait, no, there's something down there. But I'm not going down there. Looks like a bunch of turtles here in Chelsea, not gonna lie. like it when it gets more narrow and stuff. I don't like that.
Claustrophobic.
Yeah, I guess. I just don't like it when it starts closing in. It like gets smaller, like right here. Like that.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. It's like Minecraft. Look at that.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, like, I guess that's cool. Because at first I thought it was just going to be that thingy where, like, no matter where you look, it would still stay, like, upright, you know? I thought it was going to be that. Or, like, you look on the other side and there's nothing.
I'm traversing my own death throes. The infection in my leg is an oil rig that dredges black muck up from deep inside my bones. I swallow fistfuls of diazepam and paracetamol to stay conscious. The pain flows through me like an underground sea.
Okay, I think we have a few passengers we can take. We got this one right here. The one down there, I don't know if that even leads somewhere. Maybe you can go in the water.
He just said right now that he's taking a lot of diazepam and paracetamol for the pain, but this thing, it can get you paranoid and suicidal. What he's taking for his pain is actually bad for him. So the whole thing, the whole thing that's going on, he may be a crazy person just like me.
Just like you?
Just like me.
Oh, just like me.
Me from Vendetta.
Oh!
Remember? Are you like a crazy person?
Well, I don't, he wasn't necessarily crazy, but they did call him crazy.
No,
Oh, right, because of the thing
but the lady said, are you like a person? He was like,
Yeah.
He said, well, I'm sure that's what they're gonna say.
This, is that the male gender sign? I think that is.
I think so.
I don't know what that is. That looks...
That's a ground. That's a sign for ground.
Okay.
That's what I'm telling. That's what I'm
H-O-O-H.
telling. He's mixing
H-H-2.
chemistry. He's mixing chemistry with engineering, I would say. Because that sign right here, that's the sign for grounding, for ground. They use it in electrical and blueprints and all that. But why is it mixed in with chemistry? It's weird.
So that's one hydrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, and then that's probably an H right over there. I'm just gonna say it's an H. So two H's, and the H has a, I think, yeah, coefficient. That's what it's called. Let's do a test. Can you fall from height? Can you die from height? Again? Oh no, you can't. I did all that for nothing. Wow. Do you want to go up here? Because there's like so many places you can go right now.
So how do you say if we need to look up like the chemistry sign for combustion? How would
Just search up chemistry sign for combustion. Or chemistry, formula.
CH4 plus 2O2 give you CO2 plus 2H2O.
I think we'll just go this way.
Yeah, look, good, because there was oxygen. Good sign that you're dealing with a combustion reaction include the presence of oxygen as a reactant and carbon dioxide. And we had, I don't know if it was carbon.
There was,
it was hydrogen, but it's the same.
there was a lot of carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen. The first one we saw, in the lighthouse, there was, 5 hydrogen, 4 maybe, and then, going in the river. That's pretty good. Let him come in. had to have some difference. This is pointless. Yeah. There's just so many paths you can take, and yet I don't think any of them need anything. That looks like a squid. Okay. So this path over here? I think that's the only place that actually leads somewhere. What is that?
Oh, yeah. That's a cave going there.
No, we came from there.
Okay.
Unless you want to go down to that hole.
No, we
Down. Didn't these things have a name for what they are? Oh, it's called
Stalagmites.
Delaware? And then these had a different name too.
It's stalactites. They almost sound the same.
Stalactites, stalagmites. I'm pretty sure that the one on the floor started with a P. I don't know. I might just be stupid, but dumb. I don't know. I keep forgetting. I learned this in like 5th grade.
Yes, you know.
What are those pointing things that grow in caves?
Stalactites, I told you.
What about
The ones from ceiling are stalagmites. The ones from the floor are stalactites.
stalagmites?
The ones, yeah, on the ceiling.
Stalagmites and stalactites.
Yeah.
This guy. Oh, okay.
Nice.
That looks cool, but this is a bit worried. Is this just crystals or whatever?
I think it's barnacles.
Barnacles? They don't look like.
I would say.
They're too pointy. I think they're too pointy and kind of, you know, a bit too shiny stuff to look like barnacles. Kind of looks like they're of a certain shape. They don't really look like barnacles. Yeah. I don't. Left or right? Place your bet.
Yeah.
This one goes up. This one. I think that just goes up. Or not. But it looks really cool. Yeah, you don't have an option. Gave you the illusion of having an option at least. You get to choose, but you don't get to.
I will hold the hand
don't
you
have
offer
the
to
option.
me, from the summit down to this well, into the dark waters where the small flowers creep for the sun. Headlights are reflected in your retinas, moonlit in the shadow of the crematorium chimney.
Every time he talks, he's so depressed.
Let's go down.
Yeah.
I already regret this option. Yeah, this was pointless. There's nothing down there. Wait, just gonna make sure. Yeah, this was pointless. What is that? Trees? There's coins here. Hey, look at that.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Those are pretty big coins.
Great. Behold, Damascus is taken. He said something about Damascus early on. He said this place was his Damascus.
Is it sure?
Oh look, chemistry.
Oh. I don't understand that. Acts on 22.
I'm telling you, that's a diagram for I don't know what it is for, but that looks like, but it's mixed in with chemistry. Like that's weird.
So.
Damascus is taken.
Ah, okay. This is great. No, this is great. I'm learning today. I don't understand any symbols in this cave, but I just know that I'm learning. Is that metal? Yeah, that's metal. I'm learning today. These are not normal whatever that thing that you said.
They're not natural. They made them.
Yeah.
You can tell right away.
That one's pretty sharp. This one right here. Oh, look, mushrooms are back. I think they've been back. Crazy. Oh, look, we're finding it. Oh, Oh no, away from being
Pity.
backward. And it shall be
Pompous. No. Ruinous, I guess. Go back.
Pun. Ruinous heap.
Heap, I guess.
And it shall be a ruinous heap, maybe.
I guess so.
It's like the thing you shine on like anything, and like if it's dirty or stuff, it grows bright. That blue light, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was, purple, violet, whatever. I don't know. Neon. Actually, wait, no. What is that?
I bought a game yesterday, and they gave me that little picture.
Oh.
I don't even know how I equipped it, but I did, apparently.
Ah, we're going in here. That's great. Those are vines, right? Okay, that's comfort. Alright.
Man, he walks perfectly fine for having a torn leg, a broken femur leg.
We did slow down a bit back then.
Yeah, but I mean, you mean to tell me that he's already fixed? He's perfectly fine now?
No,
And he's able to swim and everything?
did you see how...
I wouldn't think anyone with a broken leg, with a broken femur, would be able to do anything.
let's go down. I think this game takes an hour to finish.
Oh, look.
Wow. This is the city. Wow. Didn't think we'd be in the city on a abandoned island.
And they're on.
Wait, you said the girl died in
That's
a car
under the
crash?
sea.
This is what?
Under the sea. You're in the water.
Legit. Like
And the car's out.
I think this is like imagery and stuff. Cause like you can't.
I think what happened is there was a big cataclysm, and maybe certain parts of the world are now underwater because of that.
I think this is imagery. Cause like it kind of looks like that car got into a car crash. You remember how you said that girl got into a car crash?
It looks like the top of the ocean is up there. Look.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't think this is for real. I just think this guy is like, cause I remember water and dreams can be can mean stuff like having repressed thoughts or like feelings, emotions or whatever. I don't know. Well, that doesn't mean that they're not gonna use that in the game.
Right.
So like, it may be stupid to you, but some other people might not think that was stupid. Or they will still, it might still be something that they want. Because,
That they relate to.
Because, I know that there's a lot of things that we make fun of people, but I think we have to be particular. Even if their point of view is complete barf, like, you can't make any sense of it. I guess you just have to go with it, I guess. Like, one time we were trying to do fake taxes in our class. It was basically like, oh, how much you have to pay for your
Esther.
Oh, cool. You have to pay for your house and stuff, blah, 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 blah. My friend somehow got negative, and he thought that was... I don't know how he got a negative. No one was supposed to get a negative. Like, he thought that was correct. Obviously, it wasn't. The teacher had to with him that had, like, helped him with it. But, yeah. How do you get a negative on? Come on. No one was supposed to get a negative. I should probably stop talking about this.
The moon over the Sanford, headlights in your retinas. Donnelly drove a grey hatchback without a bottom. All the creatures of the tarmac rose to sing to him. All manner of symbols crudely scrawled across the cliff face of my unrest. My life reduced to an electrical diagram. All my gulls have taken flight. They will no longer roost on these outcrops. The lure of the moon over the Sanford Junction is too strong.
Try not to get your body skin cells on mine, which is right there where you're eating.
Of fire and soil, I chose fire. It seemed the more contemporary of the options, the more sanitary. I could not bear the thought of the reassembly of such a ruin. Stitching arm to shoulder and femur to hip, charting a line of thread like traffic stilled on a motorway, making it all acceptable for tearful aunts and traumatized uncles flown in specially for the occasion. Reduce to ash, mix with water, make a phosphorescent paint for these rocks and ceilings.
He uses fire, like all the things you've been seeing, all we've been seeing around. Okay, that, what? It's not English. Either that or I'm uneducated. Is that a soldier? It looks like a soldier.
Alright. Zoom in on that picture?
That's as much as I can zoom in.
Get closer.
This is as close as I can. That does look like a soldier, right?
That's a lady. That's Esther.
Well,
that's Esther right there.
I still think that.
But the picture is broken.
I still think it looks like a soldier, if a lady. I don't know.
She's got a skirt.
Well, I don't know. It might be those big coat soldiers have to wear.
Look. You can tell right away that she's a lady. She's got a skirt.
Is that a gun?
No.
Umbrella?
No, that's the glass that is broken.
Oh.
There's like a bunch of lines going around because it's broken.
But look, the glass, you see the glass right here that's broken here? It's not as visible. It doesn't make as much as a mark on the picture than this one over here does. You see, it makes some white parts show up, but this one's...
You may be right, but kind of, to be honest, it is kind of blurry.
When you look far away, it should be something you could still see. Because the cracks, you can't see them. But then when you get closer, then you can see it. But you can, like that thing, you can still see it from far away. The cracks, barely. It might be a crack though. Probably. Might be, I'm not sure though. I can't see anything in this game. How how old is this? I feel like this could be like a very early 2000s game. No, not really. Maybe 2016. 17 maybe. Early 17, late 17. 15. I think the earliest it could be
Hall
was 15.
by the roadside, by the exit for Damascus, all ticking and cooled, all feathers and remorse, all of these signals routed like traffic through the circuit diagrams of our guts, those badly written boats torn bottomless in the swells, washing us forever ashore.
This is the thing we saw earlier.
From heaven? You read all that already?
No. From earlier,
says,
remember? From all
light.
the way over there. Somewhere.
No, we haven't.
Yeah, we couldn't read it, that's why. A light from heaven shone. Let's get over here. Around. Oh, probably.
Here.
Oh,
No?
around him.
Him.
A light from heaven?
Yeah, there's a lot of
Heaven shone
passages
around.
from the Bibles here.
I think this has to be with a bit of a maybe religious thing.
Yeah.
I don't think this took place around the 20th century.
Maybe there's no time in there.
Maybe.
Maybe this is where,
Things are
where,
crazy.
where all the things collide.
We're gonna have to play that game next. That one that had the weird thingy, paper mache in the water. The ring.
Oh.
We're gonna have to play
From
that
here,
next.
I can see my
Heavy
armada.
rain.
I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach. Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail. Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic, and I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink.
Look.
I was in the day, just sit right there. Because he said that he sat there until all of them sunk.
Will they sing though?
Whoa, they need to sink. Just wait. Because they're not sunk right now. They're
Nah,
still floating.
I already ate it.
Yo sé.
Forcibly,
Los tres, pero ¿de qué son?
joy, hearted.
Sí.
You remember that spelling bee I was in last year? This just reminded me of this. Oh, I died. Okay. Well, last year when I was in the spelling bee, I lost.
No, no me lo tomas.
I lost because they said that I was just about to win, and this was our last word. If I got it wrong and the other person got it right, I would win. But if I got it wrong and the other person got it, if I got it right and the other person got it wrong, then I would win, basically. But if then we both got it wrong, then we had to try again.
No, no más males.
No.
Así están buenos.
Basically.
No, 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 está bien.
So.
No, está bien, gracias.
And he fell to the ground. No. I already ate, okay?
Just one time.
Just one time. What? Your food's not the only thing I'm eating. Oh my god.
Next year, you fix your
¿De
diet.
queso?
You want me to eat the meat and then do
¿De
it?
queso?
There are no. You're getting the last
No,
one.
agarra dos tú y dos yo y se te
No.
va a caer. El puerco era vegetariano. He was a vegetarian. The pig was a vegetarian.
Pigs will eat anything. They will eat themselves.
Yeah,
What?
But he was.
Oh, right,
but he used to say
yeah.
he was vegetarian.
Ay, ni me acuerdes de eso que miró un señor que estaba bebito y la señora lo dejó. Pues el marrano lo mordió y le comió
Yeah.
todo.
Well,
Ahora ya es un adulto, pero no tiene hierro. Pero cuando lo miré, ay, no.
wow, I feel much.
No, porque su mamá no lo.
A sound of torn metal, teeth running over the edge of the rocks, a moon that casts a signal as I lay pinned beside you, the ticking of the cooling engine, and the calling from a great height, all my mind as a bypass.
¿Quieres uno o dos? ¿De queso?
Mommy, every single time you stop talking and then I try to talk, you start back again, or like.
Porque no ha acabado, Emily, no ha
Okay,
acabado.
well, I haven't either. I was talking first, and then you started talking. Don't be so mean to me. Well, I was at spelling bee, and the last word I had was cologne. C-O-L-O-G-N-E, right? I spelled it like that, and they told me it was wrong, and I knew it was right because the other day I watched I remember this video where it was showing a bunch of girls that were talking about like, oh my God, I want me a man who like.
I'd begun my voyage in a paper boat without a bottom. I'd fly to the moon in it. I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. You can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and casts parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
That guy was crazy.
Okay. Oh. Well,
Yeah, he was crazy, totally. He wrote those letters, he wrote the diagrams, and then he made a
¿Se calentaron bien?
yeah, he made a paper fleet.
didn't he also carve the thing in the mountain, right? Yeah, well, I knew how to spell it because I remember the other day I was watching, it was a funny video about these women, who, you know those ugly women that, like, they're all fat and stuff, and they're like, I want me a, like, 7-foot buff man who works all day.
If only
and stuff
Donnelly
like
had
that.
experienced this, he would have realized he was his own shoreline, as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis, retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection.
And it was like a lot of the girls were talking about how like they would want men to come home and then smell the men's cologne, but they always spelled cologne wrong. So I knew how to spell cologne because I just watched that. It's just that kind of stuff that just sticks in your head. And I spelled it right, but the judges, those old hags, told me it was wrong. And I'm like, what? And the 8th grader that was there got it right. They spelled it C-O-L-O-N. Cologne. No, that's not okay. No.
Maybe
They're just old.
Maybe you misheard it because there's also a word that spells
Spelled but said differently.
you can kind of hear it the same.
My headlights reflected in these retinas.
Cologne.
Too long in the tunnels of my island without a bottom. The sea creatures have risen to the surface, but the gulls are not here to carry them back to their nests. I've become fixed, open and staring, an eye turned on itself. I've become an infected leg whose tracking lines form a perfect map of the junctions of the M5. I will take the exit at mid-thigh and plummet to my Esther.
This is sad.
They did that to me too. I spelled it right. Just now,
I hate it.
it was like, oh, sorry. I know what I'm doing.
I genuinely don't think I'm smart. I just think everyone else is super dumb. It's just, Miss Alexander, I didn't even ask, like, I told her specifically, I do not want to be in spelling. And then she signed me up for it. I didn't even know she signed me up for it until the last second. And they were like, you know you're in spelling, right? And I'm like, excuse me? No, I'm not. They were like, yeah, you are. And later on, even the nurse, when I was in the nurse's office, she was all like, oh, Mr. Felton's here to get you because you didn't show up for the spelling bee. And I'm like, I never signed up for a spelling bee. And then she was like, oh, but Miss Alexander said you were in spelling bee, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, but I never signed up for a spelling bee. She just makes me so mad. Oh my God. Not the nurse, Miss Alexander. Like, I don't care how good I am. I don't want to waste my talent on something like that, okay? If I'm that good, don't make me waste my time. I'm starting to sound, what's the word? I don't know.
Obnoxious, arrogant,
Yes,
narcissistic.
yes. Thank you.
I have dredged these waters for the bones of the hermit, for the traces of Donnelly, for any sign of Jakobsen's flock, for the empty bottle that would incriminate him. I have scoured this stretch of motorway 21 times, attempting to recreate his trajectory, the point when his heart stopped dead and all he saw was the moon over the Sanford Junction. He was not drunk, Esther. He was not drunk at all, and it was not his fault. It was the converging lines that doomed him. This is not a recorded natural condition. The gulls do not fly so low over the motorway and cause him to swerve. The paint scored away from his car in lines like an infection, making directly for the heart.
Well, I didn't say that I was good. I just said if I'm that good, no one's Dear Esther. I'm wearing Damascus tainted. I'm pretty sure the last words on the bottom.
Yeah, it's true. This one's black.
Really? You supposed to know? Just dissipate.
We will leave twin vapor trails in the air, white lines etched into these rocks.
You are learning from me. Like what I said earlier.
Dear Esther, I have burnt my belongings, my books, this death certificate. Mine will be written all across this island. Who was Jakobsen? Who remembers him? Donnelly has written of him, but who was Donnelly? Who remembers him? I have painted, carved, hewn, scored into this space all that I could draw from him. There will be another to these shores to remember me. I will rise from the ocean like an island without bottom, come together like a stone, become an aerial, a beacon, that they will not forget you. We have always been drawn here. One day the gulls will return and nest in our bones and our history. I will look to my left and see Esther Donnelly flying beside me. I will look to my right and see Paul Jakobsen flying beside me. They will leave white lines carved into the air to reach the mainland, where help will be sent.
Yeah, he's feeling himself though. But when he was crazy, there's no explanation for it.
I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to take that long to fall from that height he was jumping from, but this is cool too. You might skip something.
Oh, come on.
He's a bird now. Sun shadow. He's imagining this. He's not famous. You don't have standing parable on this? Wow, you're so cheap.
That's what you see, I think. The Stanley Parable.
So we finished the game?
I guess, I don't know. He's going through all the places we've been. Yeah, he's a bird. Like, I'm telling you, he's crazy.
I saw the shadow at the beginning. What was crazy?
Well, at the beginning, when he
when,
went up,
when he was
he
starting
was a
to
man.
fall. When he was falling,
And then when
and
he
he was
fell
about
down-
to hit the ground, I could see the shadow of the bird. And that's what I knew. Oh man, he's a bird. Because we did say they were like...
Come back.
pissed. He said come back like every time we accidentally or not killed ourselves.
Right.
Yeah. I killed myself quite a few times.
Yeah, we're done. What?
Let's play the Something Rain.
Something what?
It was called Something Rain.
Heavy Rain.
Heavy Rain. I was about to say Deep or Dark.
Okay, we're done with Dear Esther. I don't know if that's the full game or not, if we missed anything or not, but there we go.
No, of course it wasn't the full game. I'm pretty sure we missed a lot of stuff.